So while this is technically a kicking the can down the road action, we are now running the story back to get a resolution for the shutdown that could have been March 14th. Now, let's record this on the morning of the 15th of March. No shutdown. We have a 6-month funding bill going forward as the U.S. Senate narrowly passed this bill, effectively giving us a non-shutdown for 6 months. We'll have to deal with it later. But the bill had previously passed the House, which was not so great. The big, beautiful bill that Donald Trump wanted, more or less, and Donald Trump should sign this coming up to Monday. So we'll see what happens. Now, there was contentions. There were a lot of issues. There were things wrong with the bill, if you will, from many sides, particularly from the Democratic side who didn't want to actually sign it, but didn't want to put the government into a shutdown mode, which is where the actual dilemma was. Maintains overall government spending at approximately $6.75 trillion for the fiscal year, reflecting a $7 billion decrease from the previous year. Notably, it allocates additional $6 billion to the U.S. military while reducing non-defense programs by $13 billion. This is where the actual debate on the bill begins, and many people start to have the wrangling of what's happening in the government. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, who was, of course, one of the 9 Democrats who actually voted for the bill to actually keep the shutdown going, had criticisms because he originally said this was terrible, this was horrible, we can't have this happen. And, of course, he had to convince other people to vote for this to make sure they got the 60 votes to make it go by. In the Senate, for bills like this, it has to be a 60% vote, or 60 to 40 vote to get the bills in. It can't just be the natural majority. The Republicans have 53 votes in the Senate, so they would have a majority, but you have to have the full 60 to make these things work. And because of that, Schumer, who went very hard on saying this is bad, this is terrible, this won't happen, we can't do this, was the first person to cave and convince other people to do it as well. This is a stopgap measure. This does not fix anything by any means. We have till September 30th, 2025. So once again, for my birthday, we're probably getting another government shutdown, at least a debate up towards one. We'll see what happens if they fix anything in the back and forth in agreeing to what to pay for. But right now, because debt ceiling agreements are so fundamentally awful, yet they still happen because of the drama, we do have less funds for other things, a little bit more funds for the military, and that's where people are basically losing their minds and pulling their hair out. But it does mean we won't have this debate until probably the 23rd, 24th of September, because they always wait last minute, and they will not probably get to something that will be close to a balancing of a budget or an actual resolution to go forward, or just deciding to get rid of the debt ceiling limit and just spend what they want to spend. They keep calling this a tax or a burden on our future kids because they will pay the funding, they'll pay the interest on the loans we're getting right now, because all we're doing right now is basically paying the interest. It will get bad. It will get worse. But, we also have zombie apocalypses and the singularity with machines to worry about. So those things will probably happen before anything else happens, right? 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 Well, anyway. What do you think about Chuck Schumer? We've talked about him quite a bit in the past couple of days. What do you think about Chuck Schumer and the other 9 jumping over to make sure that the bill was signed, the bill was passed? Trump still has to sign it. We know he's a little bit of a wild card as well. The bill was passed. It should be good, and we will have funding until September without any issue. And then we'll have issue on the last week of September. Your comments about the bill, about Schumer, about the Republicans, about the money itself, very much warranted.